Hour number two of our program today. I was just taking a quick look. Ed Henry, who's a reporter for Fox News Channel. Ed Henry is in Las Vegas right now. You can actually see him standing on live TV. Not that I'm recommending you make the switch. Please don't. But he's in front of the big pyramid in Las Vegas. He's talking about there was a bit of a, what you might call a dust-up between Ed Henry and Hillary Clinton yesterday at a news conference. Some of you may have already heard about this. And it's getting a lot of attention across the political world. And a lot of people today are saying, you know what? Hillary Clinton is done as a candidate already. And just a couple of days ago, people were saying, oh, this will blow over. Even a lot of conservatives who don't much like her were saying, oh, it'll blow over. It's 58, 7 minutes after 9 o'clock. Bill Colley with you on Top Story on News Radio 1310 KLIX, as well as newsradio1310.com. Al Weaver writing at the Washington Examiner, Hillary Clinton refuses to say if she wiped her email server. She was being questioned by Ed Henry yesterday. Now, some of you, as I say, may already have some of the details about all of this. And she was going on and on with her usual, well, you know, I don't really understand computers very much. I use an abacus. And Henry said, did you wipe the whole server? She said, I have no idea. That's why we turned it over. So Henry said, you said you were in charge of it. You were the official in charge. Did you wipe the server? Clinton then says facetiously, what, with like a cloth or something? No. And then Henry continues, I don't know. You know how it works digitally. Did you wipe the whole server? And she replied, I don't know how it works digitally at all. So apparently she says, now feigning that even though she's got all of these BlackBerries and iPhones and other devices and iPads that we've seen her photographed with, she's once again feigning ignorance about how all of this works. She also is going on to say it's all going to blow over soon.
I'm very comfortable that, this will eventually get resolved, and, the American people will have plenty of time to figure it out.
You'll have time to figure it out, not her. So she's already saying it's this is just baloney and it'll all blow over with, and and you're all smart enough, you'll get it. Yeah. Vote for me, and I'll give you a free lunch. 909 Bill Colley on Top Story on News Radio 1310 KLIX and newsradio1310.com. We have a caller with us. You're on the air.
Bill, my thing is to our drive-by callers that like to call you racist and then hang up. It's funny how on their side, when the law works for them, they trumpet the law. When it doesn't work for them, they want to ignore it. But if anybody else ignores it, then it's a problem. So who's really racist? You didn't say anything about race. We were talking about a law being broken. He brought up race.
Well, that same caller, we should point out, because there are people who come here illegally from Ireland and England and Scotland, in various spots. So I don't know that race has anything to do with it. But he has said in the past that he is an American citizen, but he's never said that he was born in this country. And if Donald Trump ends birthright citizenship, a lot of these people may have to pack up their bags and go.
Well, here's a better one. He's never said that he might have been born here and became a citizen. Maybe his family wasn't legal.
A dreamer.
In my book, that makes him not legal because they perverted the law again. It's all about the law. It's we have laws in this country for a reason, and when we stop obeying the laws, we're going to have trouble, and we have trouble now.
I had a coworker.
The fence that you talk about has been authorized, I don't know how many times, and the money was allocated, but where did it go?
I had a coworker from Ecuador, and we were a tremendously nice fellow to work with, and he had actually talked with me. He and his brother owned some television stations in Ecuador, and he had actually wanted me to do some English language programming with him at one time. But we had a falling out over this DREAM Act, and he was trying to argue with me, saying, well, this is an opportunity for the United States to bring our best and brightest to help you out. And I said, well, can my daughter then go down to Ecuador and go to school on your dime? He said, oh, no. And I said, well, fair is fair. He says, oh, but your country is a rich country. Mine isn't. Well, that's not the point. My neighbor may not have as much money as I do, but I'm not supposed to go over there and give him half of what I have to even things out.
Yeah, well, we talk about laws again. They want to make laws to save one life. If this law will save one life, it's worth it. But they're willing to break others that kill people.
Yeah, yeah. As I say, they scream about people who talk about states' rights, for instance. The Tea Party will bring that up. And the 10th Amendment, which does exist, by the way, 10th Amendment. It's in the Constitution. They'll scream about that, yet they nullify the law when they come to sanctuary cities, and then that's okay. But on the other hand, if I was a local clerk of the peace or justice of the peace, I would be forced to marry someone in a same-sex wedding. I could not nullify that law. So apparently Lefty is the only person who actually has that right.
Yeah, they claim about sanctuary cities and stuff, and somebody brought up having a sanctuary city for abortions, and boy, they had a fit.
Yeah, I want to get to that topic a little later.
So it's all about what they want, then it's okay. But when it's what a lot of people want, or the state voted against something, well, let's take them to court because they're a bunch of racists. I no longer will bow to the word racist. I'll wear it with a badge of honor.
Hey, I thank you much for the telephone call. 913, Bill Colley with you. Well, it's meant to stop conversation, is what it's meant to do. And you call up, you scream racist, blah, 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 whatever else, because your English is so poor. We don't know what else is being said. Then you click, hang up. All right. Well, you don't have to actually give a definition, then, do you? You don't have to go delve into that. That's the whole idea. And obviously not intelligent enough to make any argument beyond that. Because if you have to just limit yourself to calling people some of those names, all right, then that's all we've got. That's all you've got. It means your quiver is empty. Hillary Clinton, by the way. Hillary Clinton apparently is claiming that she had a few moments of stupidity. Now, I've never heard a candidate admit this while they were actually looking for your vote before. But she pretty much said, I had a senior moment, or maybe several senior moments. I was either temporarily insane or I was just plain dumb. Listen to this.
In retrospect, this didn't turn out to be convenient at all. And I regret that this has become such a cause célèbre. But that does not change the facts. And no matter what anybody tries to say, the facts are stubborn.
Oh, the facts are stubborn. Well, I guess that says it all, doesn't it? She went on then to say, if you're going to have a talk about a scandal, blame others, but don't blame me.
I did not send classified material, and I did not receive any material that was marked or designated classified, which is the way you know whether something is. What you're seeing now is a disagreement between agencies saying, you know what, they should have, and the other saying, no, they shouldn't. That has nothing to do with me.
Oh, I am innocent. I'm innocent. Even though I was Secretary of State, it didn't say it was classified. People used to just say, hey, Hillary, what's going on? That's how they would open all their emails. And I never suspected as Secretary of State that emails about drone strikes in Pakistan or about Benghazi, that they could in any way be classified. I mean, I was just the secretary. As the secretary, I had to do all the typing, you see. That's all I did. Yeah. That's what secretary means, sure. Rudolph Giuliani, former federal prosecutor, U.S. attorney from Manhattan, later mayor of New York City, appearing last night on Fox News Channel with Sean Hannity. Listen to the conversation between those two men.
I've got to believe the Russians, Chinese, Iranians, Israelis, friends, enemies, that everybody has them. Now, she's running for president. Say she won. Could you imagine Vladimir comes to the White House, dumps all the emails on her desk? That would prove her guilt, that she, in fact, did have classified information on there?
Yeah, and maybe could lead to the impeachment of the American president after she gets elected. The reality is you have to count on the fact that several foreign governments have all of this. She's one of the top officials in the government and one of the most interesting people in the United States. They have this information. And if there is a single email that connects her to any of that money that Bill Clinton was getting, it goes from conflict of interest to bribery, which is a 15-year
and obstruction
statute.
of justice, right?
And when she destroyed the personal emails, there were plenty of reasons for her to do it: to obstruct the Benghazi investigation, to obstruct the investigation of her leaking of her mishandling of classified information, to obstruct a possible bribery investigation. This woman should be the subject of a criminal investigation. She should be in front of a grand jury. These questions shouldn't be asked by Ed Henry, who she could just cut off. They should be asked by a federal prosecutor where an answer is demanded.
Up until now, she's only argued that the only leaking she's done is required depends. Well, at her age, I mean, Joe Biden even worse, of course. 9:17, Bill Colley with you on Top Story on News Radio 1310 KLIX and also online at newsradio1310.com. Judge Andrew Napolitano weighing in about this as well. Of course, former federal judge and constitutional scholar.
Let's just say they're in a courtroom and Mrs. Clinton says, well, it didn't say classified on it.
Because the story last week was that perhaps one of her underlings stripped that off and then sent it to her server in Chappaqua.
No one knows if that happened because the FBI has this information and we haven't seen it yet. But here's what her argument was. Her first argument was there are no classified materials. Right. Then she changed it to I didn't send or receive anything that was marked classified. So she tries to tell that to a jury. Guess what the judge is going to say? The judge is going to say, members of the jury, the Secretary of State who has been trained to identify classified materials is presumed to know what's classified or not, whether it's stamped top secret or not. That would force her to get on the witness stand. Absolutely. That would force her to justify how these pictures of Yemen from a satellite are not classified.
The question would be, I guess, at this point, if you're a voter, would you buy a used car from that woman? I mean, honestly, honesty is not her strong suit. Joe Scarborough over at the liberal-leaning MSDNC on Morning Joe also addressing this, saying that apparently the law enforcers in the Obama White House dropped the ball as well, maybe for political reasons.
And as we said before, federal agencies responsible for protecting this country have, over the past several months, been negligent in not doing what they would have done in every other case, including General Petraeus's. When you know there is classified information outside the building, outside where it's supposed to be, it's a quick two-step process. Get the classified information and bring it inside the agency, and then you begin the investigation, and you see how this happened. And the fact that Hillary Clinton's lawyer had a thumb drive of classified information, and the State Department did nothing about it, the NSA did nothing about it, the CIA did nothing about it, the FBI did nothing about it, the White House did nothing about it, the Justice Department did nothing about it. This is stunning, and this is the news. And I would recommend the next time the public editor for the New York Times says the New York Times might be taking it a little too hard on Hillary Clinton, they need to look at the real scandal here. And the real scandal here is that the entire federal government has allowed Hillary Clinton to do what nobody else in America would be allowed to do.
He just nailed it spot on. And it is very political, and they are covering up for potentially a major crime. Speaking of crime, I just learned the meaning of what 420 is in marijuana culture today. I want to share a little bit about that with you later in the program. Bill Colley with you on Top Story, 20 minutes after 9 o'clock and 59.